Well, I know you are hoping it's time for the second cup of wine. We are not quite there yet, but we're getting close, I promise. Rabbi Gamliel taught that there are three things that have to be explained in order for any Seder to be complete. And those are the three pieces of the Seder that are found in the Torah. And no, wine is not one of them. It is the Pesach, the shank bone, representing the lamb offering that was offered during temple times, but not at the temple. This is the only offering that was offered at home on the eve of Passover. We don't do that anymore. Hopefully no one did. We don't do that anymore. We haven't since the temple was destroyed. So that's one. The others are the matzah and the maror, the bitter herb. So the matzah and the maror, Rabbi Gamliel says, when we explain them, we lift them up because they are actually the things that they are. But the shank bone we just point at. So I told you I didn't have a shank bone. Something strange is on my Seder plate. It's a cell phone. Because what I did is I got a picture of a shank bone. You can cut out a shank bone. You can use anything you want because it's not really what it is. Now, halachically, if you want to go according to Jewish law, you can use a beet. Although right now, getting a beet, it might be as easy as getting a shank bone if you don't have either. So for this year, you can do what I'm doing. Next year, though, go ahead and get a shank bone or a beet. So we're going to point at our shank bone and use Rabbi Gamliel's explanation. This is the Pesach. The roasted bone is called the Pesach, the Passover, because it recalls the lamb our ancestors sacrificed and ate in the days of the temple. As a symbol on our Seder plate, it reminds us that during the 10th plague, Adonai passed over the homes of the Israelites and spared their firstborn. Then I lift up the matzah, drop the matzah, and I say, this is the matzah. We eat matzah to remind us how our ancestors had to leave Egypt in such haste that the dough for their bread did not have time to rise. And then I lift up my maror, my horseradish, my bitter herb. Maybe you're using wasabi, maybe you're using raw onion, whatever it is that you have on your Seder plate. We eat this maror. You can also use the stem of romaine lettuce. We eat this maror to remind us how bitter the Egyptians made the lives of our ancestors by forcing them to be slaves. Now we're going to eat the matzah and maror in just a moment. We're getting really close, but first we're going to have our second cup of wine as we sing, Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam Borei peri hagafen. Amen. L'chaim.